Well, it looks like two parts of the MCU are not officially dead. These two sides are the supernatural side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the god side, but leaning more into the mythology gods. However, there's a twist on that story. We got a post-credit scene for Hercules in Thor Love and Thunder, and unlike some post-credit scenes that Marvel Studios might just completely ignore forever, it looks like Hercules is not one of them. However, there's going to be a twist on what we thought this movie was going to be. And as far as the supernatural side of the MCU is concerned, we have great news about the Midnight Suns project, but really nothing on Blade. But it could be that Marvel Studios has, for now at least, scrapped the plans for a solo Blade movie and are moving more into the plans of introducing Blade via the Midnight Suns team. Originally, Blade was supposed to be the Nick Fury of the Midnight Suns. Nick Fury gathered the Avengers together, and Blade was supposed to gather the Midnight Suns together. And we kind of saw this in one of the Eternals post-credit scenes, where we hear Mahershala Ali's voice talking to the Black Knight, Dane Whitman. That is one of the post-credit scenes that might not ever come to fruition, but what that was supposed to do was establish Blade as sort of that Nick Fury, that recruiter of this more supernatural side. Unfortunately, Marvel never really dove into it. And a lot of things have changed since that, but let's dive into these brand new reports today, breaking down the latest Marvel news. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news, rumors, or leaks. So today, both of these reports are coming from reliable insider Daniel RPK. And we'll start with the Midnight Suns. Now, the last we heard was that the Midnight Suns project got put on hold. During that same time, Marvel Studios officially announced that they were working on a Nova project, a Terror Inc. project, and a Strange Academy project. But they did announce that they were delaying those indefinitely. Now, Nova is one that Marvel Studios is moving forward with, but we haven't heard anything about Terror Inc. or Strange Academy. Now, keep in mind those are shows, and the Midnight Suns project is supposed to be a movie. And now, apparently, it's back on. However, originally it was rumored that Michael Green was supposed to be writing both Blade and the Midnight Suns project, and that the movies were going to be filmed back to back. Blade would set up the Midnight Suns, and again, Blade would be one of the main characters and the leader. But now, according to Daniel RPK, Michael Green is no longer attached to the Midnight Suns. It really seems like Marvel's having trouble with Blade and with the Midnight Suns when it comes to the scripts. This could be creative differences. They might want these projects to be a certain way, but the writers that they're bringing in don't see it the same way. It certainly wouldn't be the first time that we've heard about something like this happening. And with all of the problems that Blade has gone through, that just might be the case. And now it looks like they might have found it easier to simply go right into the Midnight Suns than to do a solo Blade movie first. This isn't saying that a solo Blade movie won't happen, but if it does, it looks like it's going to come after Blade is already established in the MCU via the Midnight Suns movie. We've also kind of heard a lot of doubt surrounding a season 2 of Moon Knight. Perhaps this will be our way to get more Moon Knight in the MCU if he is a part of the Midnight Suns. Now, the biggest question that we have right now about the Midnight Suns is when exactly is this movie going to be released? Will it be part of the multiverse saga, and will the Midnight Suns be a team possibly in Avengers Doomsday or maybe later on in Avengers Secret Wars? Or will this be a project that is released after Avengers Secret Wars in the new MCU? The new kind of rebooted / combined universe that has the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers all together. Because we just recently heard also from Daniel RPK that Thor 5 is going to be coming out in the next saga, not in the multiverse saga. So right now, Marvel is indeed working on some movies and shows most likely as well that aren't going to be introduced before Secret Wars, but after. And remember, they do have to think ahead into the future after Avengers Secret Wars. They're not just working on everything from now to Secret Wars, they're working 5 years out. Kevin Feige said at any given point in time, whatever they have announced, they also have 5 years to 10 years past that project planned. So if I had to guess, I would assume this would come in the new universe. That way, when you introduce this completely new team, it's not rushed. It's not all of a sudden forced into a story that they had nothing to do with before. Sure, they could make it work, but it just sounds like it would be easier for Marvel Studios to get this project right if it came after Secret Wars. But if we hear any type of update at all, we'll be sure to let you know. Now, speaking of Thor 5, we have a Thor adjacent project announcement from Daniel RPK once again. Again, coming from his Patreon, he reported that Marvel Studios right now is working on a Hercules project, and it is going to be with Brett Goldstein. So it's going to be the exact same Hercules that we saw in the post-credit scene of Thor Love and Thunder. Now, again, we are unsure about when this is going to take place. Depending on when it takes place, the story for this could be very different. For example, if it comes out after Avengers Secret Wars, the whole battle with Zeus and Thor probably won't matter too much. After all, the multiverse will have just been reset. We'll have a whole new universe. Thor will most likely have played a pretty big part in saving / restoring the multiverse, and we can assume that Loki will as well. So that would most likely get rid of any type of ill will that Zeus and Hercules have towards Thor. Plus, not to mention, in the comics, Hercules and Thor become buds. Yes, they fight a little bit at first, but ultimately they are friends. Also, if it comes after Secret Wars, one thing that Marvel Studios might be doing is setting up Hercules to kind of be the new Thor of the MCU. Eventually, Chris Hemsworth will be done playing Thor, and we're about to get him in 3 new movies: Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, where we assume he is going to be one of the main characters, especially since his name was the first one revealed in the infamous Avengers Doomsday chair video. And then Thor 5. I don't think he's gonna go past Thor 5. I could be wrong, but that's probably it for Chris Hemsworth. And it's gonna be a new universe after Secret Wars, so it would make sense that they would move on to focus on other characters. Hercules could kind of be the Thor replacement, and Brett Goldstein is super hot right now. He plays Roy Kent in Ted Lasso, and he's also on the show Shrinking, which is a huge hit right now, as well as Ted Lasso. Both are big hits. He's a popular actor. Marvel already set him up to be kind of a big player in the next Thor movie, but perhaps they have shifted from that, and now he's going to be a big player in the MCU in general. And I really don't like the fact that we might take a break from Thor. I'd prefer we don't do that in the MCU, but if they do, I think that Brett Goldstein as Hercules would do a good job in the MCU, but let me know your thoughts. Now, here's the deal. If it comes out before Avengers Doomsday, then we might get that Hercules versus Thor battle. Heck, maybe even Beta Ray Bill gets involved. Because, come on, it's been so long. We need Beta Ray Bill. Hopefully in Thor 5, but at least we would get that Thor and Hercules clash. Now, ultimately, I think what happens is somewhat the same. I think he'd go and he would fight Thor at first, but then he would realize that the multiverse is in jeopardy. What Thor did before was actually him trying to save their universe from Gore and his wish from eternity. And after he realizes all of this, he probably realizes, hey, Thor wasn't actually a bad guy. He was actually a good guy. Then they become buds, and then he goes off and does his own thing. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a movie or a show. Daniel RPK just said project. If Thor is going to be involved, then I would like for this to be a movie. And if he's going to be a main character moving forward in the MCU, then it's most likely going to be a movie, since Marvel Studios and Disney just announced that basically their Disney Plus shows won't star main MCU heroes. But if he's not really going to be a part of the MCU's future and they just want to tell a story about Hercules, then a Disney Plus show seems appropriate based on what Marvel has just recently said. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this and the Midnight Suns project in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and you can check us out on other social medias as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.